Good morning, everyone. It's Gloria, and I'm here with Lily Beth. And today is Onesie Wednesday. And I thought I would combine two videos today. I was tagged by Groovychick64 to do a video on why I like Reborns. So I thought it would be just a good idea to do them both at the same time. And I'd like to show you Miss Lily Beth this morning. I have her dressed in one of my all-time favorite onesies. It's by Kyle and Dina. And this is one of the few items that I actually purchased for Lily Beth new. My husband and I were on vacation last year, and we had some free time one evening, so we were walking around a shopping mall. I don't even remember what state it was in. But I went in a TJ Maxx there, and they had some really adorable things that I had not seen in our TJ store here. And when I saw this little outfit, I just fell in love. I love everything about it. And Lily Beth she is so precious in this, I could just squeeze her to pieces. My little hunk of vinyl just is the most precious thing in this little outfit to me. So it's a little bit cool out this morning, and I thought it would be the perfect time to put this long sleeve onesie on Lily Beth. And I will show it to you. It's ruffled all the way around the bum. And it has this pretty little bow here on the teddy bear. And oh, how I love this tiny little floral print. Just so baby-like. And this is a very, very soft knit fabric. And the applique of the bear is just so precious. And she's taking herself such a good little nap this morning. And her little sock booties that I have on her, I got at a consignment sale very cheaply. And I love them because they have little pink bows on the back. And they are super, super soft and just the sweetest little fabric here and ruffle. I love Miss Lily Beth in this outfit. And I hope you all like it as well. Let me move her little hand. She's covering her face up. There we go. Yeah. Well, I may have in other videos mentioned before, excuse me, why I like Reborns. I don't really recall. As I get older, my memory is not as good as it used to be. So I may repeat myself, and I hope you ladies forgive me for that. But I will tell you a little history about myself to get to the point. When I was a little girl, I was raised mostly like an only child. My sister was next to me, and she was 13 years older, and my brother was 17 years older than me. So I really don't recall them being in the house much. My brother married when I was 3. My sister married when I was 7. And so much of my childhood was spent like an only child. And my father was a pastor of a small country church, and he had a garage in the back of our home where he repaired automobiles to earn extra money so that we would be able to pay bills, and he would be able to provide for us. And when I was 5 years old, he was in a terrible, terrible automobile accident and almost lost his life. And he was disabled from that point forward. Now, he was able to continue his preaching and did a little bit of automobile work, but never like before. And so my mother found that she had to work out of the home at that point in order for us to survive. So my mother went to nursing school and became a nurse. So when I was 11 years old, she was out of the home working during the day. I say all that to say that I had very, very few toys when I was little. I did get a baby doll at Christmas, not every Christmas, but when Mother and Daddy could afford it. And I was always one to play with one doll at a time. I never had a group of dolls that I changed all together. Just one doll. And you know what? It's still like that for me. I have several dolls in a collection that I have, but they're mostly just to look at. But as far as reborns go, I'm just totally content with Miss Lillie Beth. I've put all my love into her, and I just don't have the desire to have any more reborn babies. I just am crazy about this little hunk of vinyl, as I call her. But anyway, back to my story. From the earliest time that I can remember, I loved things that looked lifelike or real. And just say, for instance, my baby dolls, I wanted them to have the real Johnson & Johnson baby powder and baby lotion bottles and cans. I wanted to have a real baby bottle. I wanted real baby blankets. I wanted clothes for my baby dolls that looked like real baby clothes. And of course, a lot of that was impossible for me because my parents could not afford it. And when my sister married and she had her first child a little more than a year after they had married, I would get some of her hand-me-downs, the empty baby powder cans and so forth to play with. And I loved anything that looked lifelike, and I was drawn to dolls that looked lifelike. And back then, there just weren't that many. They all looked like dolls. And the closest baby doll that to real life at that time was the Tiny Tears, the very earliest Tiny Tears doll. She had very, very soft auburn, very curly, close to the head hair. And her eyes opened and closed, and she wet. You could feed her a bottle. And I wanted one more than anything in this world. And all of my friends around me, I had a large group of friends that lived on the street where I did. So many, many friends growing up. And their parents all, worked and could afford things. So they had the Tiny Tears and all the latest toys. And of course I didn't. I enjoyed playing at their homes and enjoyed their toys. But I had begged my mother for a Tiny Tears, and one Christmas I did get a doll that wet and her eyes did open and close, but I have to say, ladies, she was the ugliest doll I've ever seen. I could hardly stand to look at her, and I was so upset that. And I know that it was because my mother couldn't afford the Tiny Tears, and so this was the best she could do. But, as a young child, it just devastated me. And so, shortly after getting her, she had blonde hair, and it was very curly, but it was that shiny nylon-type hair, and it was very thick, and even though it was rooted, it looked very wig-like, and nothing like, to me, a newborn baby would look like Tiny Tears. So I took my mother's sewing scissors and I cut every bit of her hair off. Well, that was the biggest mistake ever, because then she had these huge holes all over her head in various places, and she was just all the more ugly, and I just detested her all the more. But she was the only baby I had, so I didn't have much choice. If I was going to play with the doll, that was it. So luckily I found at the dime store, they had a hand-crocheted sweater that had matching booties and a cap. And I saved my money and bought that, and so I kept that little cap on her head. And because the little sweater set looked like a real baby's sweater set, I was somewhat contented at that point. I thought, it made her look more baby-like, and so I played with her for a number of years. Well, then fast forward, and the realistic 2-year-old dolls came along, and I can't remember what they're called. Patty Play Pal, I believe, is what they were called. And to me, they looked like real little girls. They had the long, straight hair that was parted down the middle with bangs, and they wore real children's clothes, size 2 clothes. I just fell in love. So my friends got them one, and I just begged my mother again for one of those dolls. So I was 13 years old when I got my doll. I played with dolls till I was 14 and had to just put them aside because of the embarrassment of it. I couldn't let my friends know. They went on to boys, and here I still was having tea parties and playing with dolls. But my mother took me shopping, and she could not afford the Patty Play Pal, but she did get me a doll, the 2-foot doll. And there again, I was not happy because, she was second best. It was not what I wanted. But, I still have that doll today. I will show her to you sometime. She is in my daughter's bedroom upstairs. And, I love that doll simply because of the memories that she holds. Okay, we'll fast forward. I marry, I have children, and when I have 2 little girls, and would you believe I did the same thing with them? I wanted them to have the most realistic dolls that I could find, and the most realistic high chairs and baby cradle and stroller. I did not want anything that looked doll-like. And I can't remember the name of the dolls that I bought them, but they were the most lifelike of the baby dolls at that time. This was going back 40 years ago almost. And through the years, I'll thumb through magazines, and I came across the Ashton Drake dolls, and I thought they were so adorable because they looked so lifelike, and I thought, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. I was astounded that there were such babies out there. And then when I saw the price of them, I was very dismayed. And I had other priorities in my life, and buying a realistic baby doll was just not one of them. And so I kind of gave up on that idea. Plus the fact I noticed that a lot of those dolls weren't the lifelike size. And I thought, well, what's the use? I don't want a baby doll that looks like a real baby, but if it's not the size of a real baby, then that defeated the purpose in my eyes. So kind of put that on the back burner, and fast forward another few years, and I retire. And I have a grandbaby who absolutely loves playing dolls. And she would come over with her baby dolls. And I don't even remember now what prompted me to look on the internet. I believe I was looking on eBay for something else and came across one of the realistic baby dolls, and I started searching and watching. I did not watch videos at that time. I didn't know they existed, but I started looking at all the Reborn dolls, and I saw there was such a wonderful variety of them, some that looked more realistic than others. So I told my husband, I said, this is what I would like to to have. I've always wanted this, and you know that I've always loved dolls. And, you know, now I have time. I want one of these babies. And so I did my research. I looked for a long time to see what was the most desirable things to have, you know, like the rooted eyelashes and the open nostrils and the veining and the fingernails and the micro-rooted hair, only 1 or 2 hairs in place. You know, all the wonderful things that you look for in a reborn. And I bid on a couple that I lost the bid on, and I am so glad, you know, that the Lord did not answer me on those babies. You know, that song about, you know, thank heavens or thank God for unanswered prayer. And so when I saw Lillie Beth's picture on eBay, my heart leapt. I thought, this is my baby. And we had set a fairly low limit. I will tell you that I had set a limit of $300 to pay for a reborn doll. And at that time, that sounded like an awful lot of money to me. But needless to say, ladies, Lillie Beth was more than double that. And my husband agreed reluctantly to let me spend that money. And I have never regretted one dime of it. She's worth every penny. I just absolutely adore this little doll. But anyway, as soon as I got her, my daughter and granddaughter were over here when I opened the box, and my grandbaby just fell in love immediately. Well, nothing would do but that she had to have one and my daughter had to have one. So they started their little collection, and I think they have 4 or 5 between them. I've lost count, but that's all they're going to have for right now. But they found a lady that was very affordable. She was a new artist out of Ellington, Florida, and just does beautiful, beautiful work. And so they were very blessed to have what they have. And so my grandbaby brings her doll over every time she visits. And so we have to dress and feed and whatever. You know, our special time together is playing with the dolls. And so, you know, I've made this video way too long, ladies, but that's my story when it comes to my love for realistic baby dolls and my love for this little reborn baby doll. I love looking at this baby. I just, I know she's a doll. I mean, she is a doll, but she is very precious to me and just brings me much joy and happiness, as I know your babies do you. So I guess I'll bring this video to a close. It's been way too long, and I thank you for your patience and watching, and I hope you all have the most blessed day today, and I send you love and hugs from Gloria and Lillie Beth. Bye-bye now.